Hey everybody, it's the OMAD Dad. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, a channel that is dedicated to living the OMAD lifestyle or eating one meal a day. Well, today I want to talk about two of this country's favorite stimulants and favorite things to consume, caffeine and alcohol. For the first part, I'm going to talk about caffeine, and mainly I'm going to use resources from an article that was written from the New York Times by Jane Brody titled Too Much Caffeine May Stress the Heart. And some good points here, and if you just kind of bear with me, I'm going to go over the gist of things. And she talks about caffeine use in America and in the context of her brother, who was kind of a caffeine addict and ended up having a heart attack. And when people often, who either you come to this channel or other channels on YouTube or go out searching for books, many people suffer health problems, and they start to look at aspects of their life that are not working for them, or aspects of their life that they could perhaps change so they can get a better result. And sometimes it takes a jolt, like having a doctor tell you that you have heart disease or you're diabetic, or we found a tumor or something, and hopefully that never ever happens to any of you out there. But sometimes this is what sparks people to go on a sort of an inner journey, an inner reflection, and to see, what am I doing? What health choices am I making that I can fix? Caffeine is definitely probably America's leading drug. According to this, over 90 million adults every day consume something with caffeine in it, whether it's coffee, tea, sodas, even some prescription pills have them. And she goes on to talk about how many milligrams of caffeine are in most of our favorite types of drinks, like an 8-ounce cup of coffee, for example, and I'm referencing her article here. It can contain anywhere from 95 to 165 milligrams of caffeine. Let's see, 8 ounces of black tea, about 25 to 48 milligrams, unless you get decaf. An 8-ounce soda, about 24 to 46 milligrams. And some of these energy drinks can have as many as 300 milligrams. That's why they're energy drinks, folks. They just really give you that just boom. They just nail you with caffeine. And what I loved about this article is that it kind of talked about some of the positive benefits, but also what happens to your body when you consume it. All right, and if you can stick with me for a minute, she said, and I quote, in moderate doses, caffeine has mainly positive effects for people, like it's a central nervous system stimulant that increases alertness. It'll relieve fatigue and improve concentration and focus. It may even boost body weight loss by temporarily suppressing your appetite and prompting your body to produce heat and energy when you're digesting your food. And consumed in moderation, coffee has even been linked to a reduced risk of several kinds of cancer. Now, the FDA is advising a maximum daily intake of about 400 milligrams. So if you have one of those energy drinks, you're pretty much right at the cusp. In other words, if you're sipping on coffee all day, you'll probably be considered over the recommended amount. One of the problems with caffeine is that it secretes your body's stress hormone called cortisol, which is responsible for that fight or flight response that you have in your body. In other words, a lot of blood is taken away from your extremities, and it's gone. It goes into around your heart. It's around your leg, your arms. In other words, so if you're ready to fight and kill, or you're ready to flight, it's so that you are ready to run. This old ancient survival technique within us, and that has long-term effects. And high cortisol levels, chronic high cortisol levels, will be something that is detrimental for you to losing weight. And there's a few more notes here that I want to go over. Although the cortisol responses to caffeine generally get reduced the more you drink it, you still are always going to get that that cortisol response. So you can, in other words, you'll notice this too, like when you have caffeine, if you've never had it before and then you start to have it, it'll feel great, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, that one cup of coffee didn't really do it. So then you have 2 cups of coffee and you're like, whoa, okay, now I feel really good. And it's like that for a while until you have to in other words, you build up a tolerance. Some of the possible side effects of excessive caffeine are impaired responses by your immune system, your central nervous system, memory deficits, changes in the workings of the brain's frontal lobe and limbic system that are involved in critical factors like problem solving, judgment, motivation, attention, memory, learning, emotions, and empathy. So it's a pretty good article here, and I'm going to link this up in the description. And now the other part of this was alcohol. Before I delve into alcohol, black coffee, black tea is recommended for you, and it is okay, mostly because there's pretty much no calories in it, and it won't break your fast for when you're not eating, if you're on your OMAD plan. And then occasionally, I have a glass of wine or a beer with my meal on a day off, with my OMAD, because I do allow myself a caloric beverage. And so here we are. I'm sure you all know about some of the side effects of alcohol. Too much it's toxic. Too much of it can really kill you. Some of the effects are lessened if you consume it with a meal. But for the most part, again, caffeine and alcohol, not something your body needs. But what I want to try and reiterate to you is these are the decisions that you have to weigh for yourself, and you have to do it personally. And you have to determine what is safe, when it is becoming too much of an addiction or a detriment to your health. And you have to ultimately make the decision to keep it or get rid of it in your life. You know, if you're having a cup of coffee every day, or you only have it once in a while, if you're during your fast and it's black, and it's only when you have some hunger pains and it kind of helps you out, or you like to have your cup of tea at night before you go to bed, that's fine. Whatever you like. If you have that occasional diet soda that has some caffeine in it, but it doesn't have any calories, it's no, real sugars or anything like that, that's okay. But it's when you become addicted to this stuff, and you have to realize that, okay, maybe this isn't working for me. I also have this philosophy, and I've mentioned it before, on this channel, is that I don't like to live like, I'm not going to live like a monk. I want to enjoy some of life's amazing creations. Now, I am not a coffee drinker, but I do like tea. And if it has a little bit of caffeine in it, so what? I'm kind of getting over the whole diet soda thing right now. It's just kind of an expensive habit. But if you're going to have the occasional diet soda, that's okay. If you're going to have your meal and you've got a nice spread of food around you, and either you're by yourself or maybe you're with some family, and it's a special occasion, and you break out a glass of wine, maybe you had two, it's okay. But if you feel like those food items, and it doesn't even have to just be caffeine and alcohol, it could be sugar, it could be whatever, carbs, it could be meat, or whatever it is, you want to make sure that you have the power over those items, not them having the power over you. Make it work for you. Make it a part of your life, as long as it's going to give you something for a benefit. When it comes to caffeine, I will say that many people reach for it for the energy boost. And we live in a society that's always just go, 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 and we want more, we want more. And I understand, it's a modern society, but at the same time, that's very stressful and taxing on our bodies. I don't think that we're meant to be bouncing off the walls all the time. One thing I've noticed is, while being on my OMAD plan, is that my energy levels are really stable throughout the day, and I like that, because it's just a fact of science. What goes up must come down. If I have this incredible high and I'm bouncing off the walls, then at some point I'm going to come crashing down, and I'm just going to be unfunctionable. Whereas if I have a nice steady energy throughout the day, I'm fine, and I can go well that way. I operate fine that way. And often these stimulants, caffeine is a good one based on what it comes in. Sometimes it makes you feel hungrier, which can make your fasting periods that much harder. So when you're only eating one meal a day, you're not numb to the whole process, and you're paying attention to your body, you're paying attention to what you eat. I've noticed it within myself. I'm watching the foods I eat and the combinations and how it makes me feel, and if you feel it's not helping you, then get rid of it. We don't, alcohol is another thing. It's like we don't need it in the sense that we don't need to have a dessert, but you know something? I enjoy it once in a while, and it's okay, because we give our bodies plenty of time to recover and to heal ourselves. And some of the oldest living people on this planet had some caffeine. They drink coffee, they drink tea. Some of them drink. In other words, they do things that modern doctors and things would scoff at, and most young health zealots would say, well, that's no good for you, but they incorporate it into their life. They have this not so much carefree way of living, but they enjoy every aspect of life. And you can't discount having good genes, and you can't discount modern medicine and all that, but that's another topic altogether. But the general gist I wanted to get through from this today is because sometimes people ask me about caffeine, and it can be, things like that can be harmful to the gut. My whole approach with controversial ingredients like caffeine or alcohol, or like what the video I did with sugar, is that overall you have to make this work for you, and you're the one who is in the driver's seat of your life. So you have to decide, is there a place in my life for caffeine and the effects of it, or alcohol, or sugar, or carbohydrates in general, or non-grass-fed meat, or whatever it may be. You're in charge, and you have to make that decision. You know, many people say life is too short, and I don't want to. I'm one of them, and for me to say, I could probably live life just fine, never having a dessert, but life is too short. That's my motto, and I can enjoy these in moderation by having a set routine as to how and when I'm going to consume it. And then when my meal is over with, that is it. And again, the number one thing that you should be drinking is water anyway. And it's fine to go days without having any of that stuff and just drinking pure water. Nothing wrong with that at all. But you have to decide whether or not these are working for you or they're working against you. And if they're working against you, then you need to get rid of it in your life. So I hope that was helpful. I'm going to link the New York Times article in the description of this. I hope you guys are having a great week. I hope you have a very happy OMAD, and I will see you on the next video.